Isn't it strange how life can be a complete bore without its usual drama and surprises? Also, the fact that we're always in search of something new or different that spices up our daily existence builds the drama further. The sad truth is, everything has a benchmark, but the moment it is exceeded, our experiences become a total adventure. And we have seen this happen time and time again. Today, we'll be taking a look at some sporting events that have taken the whole world by surprise. First up, on the 22nd day of February 1980, the United States hockey team beat the Soviets in what is now known as the Miracle on Ice. It was one of the most dramatic turns in Olympic history. No one had seen it coming. The U.S. hockey team was an underdog made up of college players, while the Soviet team was a four-time defending gold medal winning team. The win was a total shocker. The Soviet team had won the previous 4 Olympic hockey gold medals and had not lost an Olympic hockey game since 1968. These are records that could ruffle anyone's feathers. Also, 3 days before the Lake Placid Games began, the Soviets humiliated the United States team 10-3 in an exhibition game in New York City. The Americans didn't exude the tiniest detail of confidence, especially with the average age of the U.S. team being 22, not to mention that their team captain, Mike Erusian, was recruited from the obscurity of the Toledo Blades of the International League. As a matter of fact, very few people believed the U.S. team would make it to the Olympic tournament. The team soon silenced their naysayers when they made it through the opening round of play undefeated, boasting 4 victories and 1 draw, and thus advancing to the 4-team medal round. The Soviets, however, were ranked number 1 and, as expected, went undefeated with 5 victories in the first round. They were ignorant of what was going to hit them in the next round, and it is understandable. The U.S. team had the victory over them, bringing pride to Americans in the crucial period of the Cold War between Russia and America. Next up, the golden match in Qatar. In the tennis world, a player winning all 48 points doesn't happen every day. In fact, it is quite rare, and some even believe it is impossible. Most tennis players go their entire career without ever getting a perfect run. You can already guess how it must feel when it does happen. Well, it happened recently in Doha, the capital of Qatar, when Thailand's Kriton Koekul completed a golden match. Thailand's Kriton Koekul defeated Ukraine's Artem Bamet 6-0, 6-0 in the first round of qualifying at the M15 event in Doha. However, the match was unimpressive, and you could almost wonder if it was a competition at all, considering who Koekul's opponent was. On the opposing side of the court was Artem Bamet. He seemed out of place, as his performance was as though he had never held a tennis racket in his life. You could almost give him a thumbs up for showing up at all, or even trying, because the game was awkward. While Koekul appeared to glide the racket with dexterity, shooting the ball tactfully over the net, Bamet was struggling, unable to get his attacks over the net. It was a pitiful sight. In addition, the match was outrightly comical, a drama of errors riddled with several swings and misses. You could almost scream at Bamet to check if he actually knew the ball had to go over the net. Spectators were not only amazed at the lack of skill, but left wondering how in the world Bamet was allowed to take the court. According to a popular tennis blog site, Tennis.com, sometimes tournaments don't fill their qualifying draw, which opens up the door for anyone who pays the tournament entry fee and has an ITF membership. In a sport like tennis, where revenue is not necessarily free-flowing, the tournament has no incentive to deny entry when there are open spots in the draw. It's simply extra money for the tournament. Before Koekul's victory, the most recent golden match came in the opening qualifying round of a then-futures event in the Czech Republic. France's Dan Added, now ranked number 245 in the world, defeated France's Freddie Proton in 30 minutes. Moving to the next, Mike Tyson destroyed Spinks in 91 seconds of Matchroom Boxing in the United States. Tyson, one of the most revered fighters of the last century, delivered an epic first-round knockout in one of the biggest fights of his career while defending his undisputed heavyweight championship against Olympic gold medalist Michael Spinks. Tyson, who came into the fight with a 34-0 record and 30 KOs, immediately jumped all over Spinks 31-0, landing several hard rights and lefts along the ropes. Tyson continued in an inside exchange with a left elbow. About a minute into the round, Tyson landed a solid right hand that backed Spinks across the ropes and sent a roar through through the crowd. Spinks fought back, but his blows were wayward misses. Tyson came around with an uppercut followed by a right to the ribcage, which sent Spinks crashing down for some seconds. It was the first of Tyson's furious knockdowns in his professional career. Although Spinks rose after the mandatory 8 counts, the fight was over a few seconds later as Tyson stormed in. Spinks missed him with a right hook, and Tyson smashed with a right hand on the right side of his head. Spinks flopped backwards, slamming his head on the canvas, and lay motionless for several seconds as Cappuccino proceeded to count him out. The official time was 1 minute 31 seconds of the first round and was the 4th quickest knockout in heavyweight title history up until that time. Also, if you're in for the gore, it would interest you to note that Mike Tyson's violent spree is second to none. Once he bit off a chunk of an opponent's ear. It happened in an infamous heavyweight boxing rematch between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield some 25 years ago. This fight was nicknamed The Sound and the Fury, but is now referred to as the Bite Fight, which resulted in Tyson's disqualification. The infamous bite happened in the 3rd round of the match when Tyson sunk his teeth into Holyfield's right ear, tearing off a piece of cartilage and spitting it on the canvas. As though the taste of blood excited his nerves, Tyson rushed at Holyfield as he danced around the ring in agony, leading to Tyson's immediate disqualification. The disqualification didn't stop Tyson from starting a brawl in the ring while trying to fight his way through to Holyfield again. Tyson explained his actions as retaliation for Holyfield's continual headbutts, which referee Mills Lane ignored. Meanwhile, critics suggested that Tyson knew he was on his way to being stopped by Holyfield once again and was searching for a way out. The truth is more complex and goes way back to the first fight and beyond. In his autobiography Undisputed Truth, Tyson stated that he would have knocked out Holyfield when they fought in 1991. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the Indianapolis 500 is renowned for recording the world's largest sports attendance. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway worked with Marion County Public Health Department to ensure that 40% of the venue capacity could attend the May 30th race on Memorial Day weekend. The Speedway is the largest sporting facility in the world with more than 250,000 grandstand seats and the ability to host close to 400,000 on race day throughout the entire property. Pretty impressive, right? Well, the attendance figure was determined after Indianapolis hosted the NCAA men's basketball tournament through March and into April with limited attendance. The NCAA allowed 8,000 fans at Lucas Oil Stadium for the April 5th men's championship game. Roger Penske had hoped that the Indianapolis 500 would get sold out at least once in his second year as owner of the Motor Speedway, but it seems IndyCar and Speedway officials would rather relish in the milestones they have achieved already. In a speech by Mark Miles, the president and CEO of Penske Entertainment Corporation, he stated that the Indianapolis 500 means a lot to everybody around the world, Hoosiers and race fans alike. We feel a real responsibility to protect that legacy and to grow it and to have the race, Miles said. We're ready to take the next step in bringing back the economy, and a lot of that in this city and state is driven by sports events, which have been shut down for so many months. March Madness was incredibly successful. This is the next step, and it just so happens this will probably be the biggest sporting event of the year. A lot of expectations are out for Indianapolis, and spectators are ready to flock to the venue. They just need the right games and motivation. These events have defied sports logic and have created a need for critical analysis. So which one excites you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.